build a great wall, and nobody builds walls better than me. Believe me, and I'll build them very inexpensively. I will build a great, great wall on our southern border, and I will make Mexico pay for that wall, says President-elect Donald Trump. I do not believe that getting rid of immigrants will put the U.S. in a good position with other countries or with itself. Immigration is like osmosis, a process by which molecules of a solvent tend to move across a semi-permeable membrane from a less concentrated solution to a more concentrated one. In osmosis, molecules are able to move freely when it gets too crowded. That's like how people are able to move freely in some ways to be able to get away from concentrated areas or get out of bad solids. If immigrants are sent back, the U.S.'s workforce won't be as strong. Most jobs that require lots of heavy labor are not going to be done by American citizens. That isn't to say they aren't going to do them, but usually they won't. As stated by Jai Zong and Jean Batalova from the Migration Policy Institute on frequently requested statistics on immigrants and immigration in the United States, immigrants accounted for nearly 17% of the 17%, which is 26.7 million of the 159.5 million workers in the civilian labor force in 2014. Between 1970 and 2014, the percentage of foreign-born workers in the civilian labor force more than tripled, from 5% to 17%. Over the same period of time, foreign-born share of total population grew from almost 5% to 13%. If we were to send them back to their country and build a wall so that no one else could enter from the southern border, who would do the labor-intensive jobs? Trump wants to get rid of them to create more jobs, but the problem isn't immigrants taking them. It's people want things handed to them, and they don't want to work for things themselves. If everyone could be hard workers and work for what they think they deserve, then there wouldn't be as big of a problem. The main problem with the whole situation is the government giving out things to people who are capable of going and doing things for themselves. It teaches them that they don't have to work for things. So when there's a job opening and an immigrant gets it, it's because they are more qualified for the job than someone else. They say it's because immigrants are taking all the jobs, when in reality it's people not wanting to go out and do the jobs. When there are crops to be harvested, who do you see out in the field picking it? Most of the time, it's Hispanics. Most Americans want the cubicle job where they can stay in the air conditioning. And nothing is wrong with that, but they shouldn't complain about immigrants, legal or illegal, when they are building their houses, putting food on their table, picking the cotton for their clothes, and endless other things. What will happen if they get deported? Will Americans step up and do their jobs? Also stated by Jai Zong and Jean Batalova from the Migration Policy Institute, of the 25 million employed foreign-born workers ages 16 and older in 2014, 30% worked in management, professional, and related occupations, 25% in service occupations, 17% in sales and office occupations, 13% in natural resources, construction and maintenance occupations, and 15% in production, transportation, and material moving occupations. I believe the problem starts in the Capitol. They want to send all these people back, but if they made it easier on them, it'd be to be able to become citizens and not make them have to wait 10 plus years just to get a court hearing, there wouldn't be so many here illegally. This country was founded on immigration. If Trump wants to make America great again, then he shouldn't send people back or turn them away. Instead, he should welcome them with open arms and try to make things easier on them because he doesn't know where they came from. No, it isn't right for them to come here illegally, but sometimes you have to do what is best for your well-being. Say you lived in a place where there wasn't a safe water supply, very little food, the conditions were bad, and there was crime all through the streets. Would you want to keep your family safe by moving into another country illegally, or stay and something potentially happened to your family because there wasn't a way to escape? I don't know of everything that goes on or that is to be done for someone to become a citizen, but I do know that it shouldn't take 10 plus years just to get a court hearing. Most illegal immigrants come to the United States to be able to have a better life and let their kids grow up in a place where they can grow and become the best they can be. If life wasn't bad for them where they came from, they wouldn't want to move here to have a better life. I believe the U.S. shouldn't try to keep people from coming. They should be glad they want to come here. In the article, Undocumented America, The Truth of Illegal Immigration by Ben Brown from Fox Business, in an interview with an illegal immigrant, he stated, "The quality of life in the United States and the education my kids can get, the ability to have bilingual children, and the ability to raise my standard of living, mine and my wife's, here in the United States, was the motivation," Jose, who lives in Nevada with his family, told Fox Business. By this statement made by an illegal immigrant, it shows just how much it means to him to have his family in a place where they can learn and grow and be safe while doing it. Sometimes you have to make choices that are going to be the best for you in the long run, but not necessarily the greatest choice overall. If the qualifications to be able to become a U.S. citizen were easier, there wouldn't be as big of a problem with illegal immigration. They want to say they should come legally and everything would be good. But if you're living in bad conditions and don't want to have to wait several years to wait on a court hearing and a judge to tell you no, you may wonder why they choose to come to America when there are several other countries that are possibly just as good. To answer that question, there are many reasons they come to America. As stated by Elizabeth Arizaga from the Gremlin Night, in Why Do Immigrants Come to the United States of America? The history of the United States is deeply related to immigration. For many years, the United States opened its doors to welcome those seeking political and religious freedom, as well as the adventurer, the wanderer, the persecuted, the fortune seekers, and others. Immigrants built up the United States from the beginning. This country was and continues to be a kaleidoscope of ethnic and cultural groups. When someone says immigrant, does a good or bad thought pop into your mind? Most likely it was a bad thought came into your mind. This is because politicians and people in charge of quote-unquote running this country have put bad images into our heads about immigration, of how immigration is ruining our country, and they are taking all our jobs away. In agreement with Rick Cohen from the Daily Yonder in his article, "Immigration Brings Economic Benefits to Rural America," a study done by Robert Gallardo, a professor at Mississippi State University, says, immigrants are moving to areas that are economically vital. They move there because there are lots of jobs, and because they go there, it creates employment opportunities for others. They buy things, they use services, they need housing, they are consumers, and that's good for local economies. This study shows that immigration is actually helping the United States. It boosts the economy when there are more consumers. To fix the problem of illegal immigration, we should figure out a system that could make it easier for them to become citizens. One way to do this could be by having them fill out a form that will explain why they need to come or why they want to move to the United States and how it will help them have a better life. Doing this could help the courts decide quicker instead of having to go to several court cases and getting a decision quicker. In conclusion, immigration actually helps the country. Even though there are several illegal immigrants here, the way to fix that problem is to make it easier for them to be able to become citizens. If we had a system to where they could go straight to the courtroom and start the process off whenever they decide they want to move, then it would take a couple of months to get a decision. It would appeal to more to come legally. In the meantime, I guess we would just have to stick with our same old ways.